Now, forewarned weather with Ashlee Baracy.
Well, as we take a look at our power outage map, there are still folks waking up without power today, and that's stretching from Wayne, Oakland, Washtenaw counties on north, even Livingston County, Macomb County, dealing with some of those power outages. Certainly getting a little improvement. We're getting improvement in the temperature department today, too, but as we're waking up in the 70s, still not a whole lot of relief through the overnight, but you will notice that difference a little more heading into tonight. 90-degree days. Let's talk about that, because for folks that are still without power, at least we're not forecasting another 90-degree day. We're coming off a 4-day stretch of getting into the 90s. And so 13 days is what we average, and we have a couple more, and that's for the entire year, I should say, but we have a couple more in the forecast over the next week. So yesterday and the day before, we hit 95 for that afternoon high, which was a record on Monday, tying the record. Yesterday, we were 2 degrees shy of the record heat. So here's a look at your 24-hour temperature change. We are about 5 degrees cooler in Mount Clemens, almost 10 degrees cooler in Sandusky and Port Huron, 2 degrees cooler at Metro Airport, which might not be as noticeable, but that's the direction we want to be going in because of the extreme heat. So no heat alerts to bring you today. That's a change of pace. Temperature-wise, we're in the 70s, but 64 in Port Huron, 66 in Lapeer. So it is a little bit of a cooler start out there, but the cloud cover will keep those temperatures from rising as quickly as they've been doing the last couple of mornings. So 77 around 11 a.m., mostly cloudy skies, and then chances for showers and storms by about 2 o'clock in the afternoon onward. So time-wise, if we were to see some development of those storms, very similar setup to yesterday, as this will be riding along a stationary boundary down into our southern counties. Forecasting 84, but give or take a degree or two, depending on where you're at, especially farther north is definitely going to be a little cooler. But that stationary boundary, we'll zoom in closer, showing you how those showers just ride along it. You can see that right here in the western part of the state. So that'll continue to trickle down into our southern counties as we head into the afternoon. Hour by hour look, I've stopped the clock at 2, and that's where we do have some of that development across the area. Heavy downpours possibly even into Washtenaw County, and by 6, most of that's out of here. I won't rule out an isolated shower or two, but the bulk of that should be gone through the evening, and then we have just off and on isolated chances tomorrow and Friday as well before a drier pattern will ensue for the weekend. So it times out well for the weekend when it comes to the drier weather. We'll still be warm, but marginal risk for severe weather south of I-94 today with those damaging wind gusts really the primary threat. Back to around 90 on Friday. We'll be mid-80s Saturday and back to around 90 on Sunday. So the heat will be working its way back in going into the weekend.
Forecast today. Ashley, what's happening?
Well, we have this stationary boundary draping the region right across lower Michigan, and watch how these showers and storms just kind of ride along that. So that's the direction of what we're going to be tracking heading into the afternoon. What's off towards Kalamazoo working its way into our southern counties later today. Marginal level 1 risk for severe weather south of I-94, and it'll be the same threats as yesterday. Damaging wind gusts and some heavy rain leading to flash flooding. Cloudy skies will keep those temperatures a bit cooler today, so we're waking up in the low to mid 70s with afternoon highs in the mid 80s.
Weather with Exact Track 4D.
Well, even a slight cool down of just a few degrees, bringing us to the mid 80s, low 80s, feels really nice.
It does.
Right?
I try to go out every morning and walk outside just to check the temperature. And today, I also go out to
Do you get dressed first, or is it just kind of like...
I'm talking about at work, okay? I'm saying I step
once
out
you're
of this
at work.
once I'm at work.
Well, you've already gone outside before when you leave the house. I was imagining.
How do you get
He
dressed in
acts
the
like
morning?
he's going to just, check the weather, but
check
really
the
he's
weather.
going to get cookies from across the street.
He's going to mine. I imagine it going to get the
Nobody's
paper. He's in his
complaining.
boxers. Oh my gosh!
yeah.
Hey neighbor, how are
You
you?
don't want that side.
A little
bro. You don't
breezy
want that.
day.
But it is nice to get the reprieve, though. It really is nice.
It will be,
The
although
storm's not so nice.
storm's not so nice, and the humidity is still going to be lingering. So even though the air temperature is going down, it's still not comfortable.
I know Darnell's hair is really struggling.
That's right.
It's frozen.
I mean, that shine, you can see that head from off the rails. Sing it, baby, sing it. All right, so here's a look at the power outage map because we've had improvement there this morning. So feeling for the folks that are still into this blue contour across portions of Livingston, Oakland, Macomb, Wayne counties where we still have some of those lingering power outages, but Crews are out there working hard to restore power, and we'll need it because even with the reprieve in the temperatures, still mid-80s in some spots today, and that humidity certainly lingering. Washtenaw County, though, has lifted the reporting for their outages on our map there, so that is certainly improvement. Temperature change going in the right direction. Now, normally I would say it would be when we are a little warmer that's the right direction, but given that we've been coming off a heat wave, the cooler air is where we want to be. So 10 degrees cooler in Mount Clemens, almost there in Lapeer, 12 degrees cooler in Sandusky, and 13 degrees cooler in Port Huron. So that's going to give us a better start to the day, and then as clouds linger throughout the morning, that will hinder those temperatures from rising as well, at least drastically. So 75 at Metro Airport right now, 70 in Mount Clemens, but you get along and north of about I-69, and we do have some 60s on the map to start the day. So our high temperatures will range depending on where you're going to be this afternoon. So we have upper 70s north of really M59 or right around 80 degrees, and then south of that area low to mid 80s, and I think that we're anywhere from probably 80 to 84 degrees for the afternoon high across the more populated portion of Metro Detroit. Feeling like upper 80s, close to 90 though with that humidity. So hourly forecast, we will get into the low to mid 80s this afternoon, and then we're stalling out there because the shower and storm chances will arrive really in the peak heat of the day. Very similar setup to yesterday. Far western suburbs might see this just before 2, and then it will be rolling into our area after 2. Mostly cloudy throughout the morning ahead of those shower and storm chances. Here's a look at how this pans out. So I've stopped the clock at 2, and we have those showers crossing the area, and I think as long as you are south of about I-69, likely going to get a splash of rain, but the heavier stuff should be from Washtenaw County on south, and that's where we will have a chance for some stronger storms south of I-94. By 6 o'clock, the bulk of that's out of here, and we should be drying things out with just a couple little isolated pockets that could be developing with that active unstable air mass. And so by tomorrow, isolated shower or 2 that will persist into the afternoon and continuing into Friday before we really start to let off the gas of those scattered shower and storm chances. So south of I-94, marginal level 1 risk for severe storms today, but some non-severe storms could be draping all of southeastern Michigan. The area in dark green could see those wind gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour and flash flooding if you get that heavy downpour, much like what we saw happen along I-75 yesterday. So rain chances diminish just in time for the weekend. So if you have outdoor plans, it'll be hot, but at least you're not having to dodge the rain. Tomorrow's severe risk dodges us. It'll be up to the northwest and the central part of lower Michigan. Humidity, though, rolling on. So it doesn't matter what the air temperature is. The muggy meter remains tropical going all the way into the weekend. And speaking of the weekend, well, we're going to be in a new homestand for the Tigers. So we'll continue to be playing the A's today and tomorrow. We have those scattered shower chances, but then we'll be taking on the Twins come Friday and beyond, and it's going to be a hot one. 7-day forecast, we have a couple 90s there come Friday and Sunday.